The highly anticipated new season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season Sweet 16, aired this week, and viewers have been patiently waiting for this season to air to see what these peaches could bring, especially after a somewhat lackluster last few seasons. We were really hoping and expecting for that old Atlanta to come back with a new fresh energy, right? Well, I watched episode one, and you better believe we're going to talk about it. Welcome back to Damien After Dark. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button below. We're so close to 10,000 subscribers, and I could really use your help, and I'd appreciate that. Click that thumbs up button while you're down there and like this video if you don't mind. That helps me get into the YouTube algorithm. I'd really appreciate that too. Join the conversation below. Leave me all your thoughts and opinions on the season premiere of season Sweet 16 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And last but not least, if you would like to donate to the Damien After Dark movement to help us grow and sustain this channel, in the description box below will be some ways that you can donate using PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle. All right. Thank you guys so much for the support. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. All right. Let's get into it. Season 16. I was really excited. This was the first time I had watched a TV show at its regularly scheduled program without watching it on DVR, without watching it on Peacock, without watching it on streaming next day. This was the first time I was seated. This was appointment viewing for me. This was appointment television for me, right? I went and got Chinese food. I made a date out of it. I was excited because The Real Housewives of Atlanta was once my favorite reality show. For 10 plus years, it was my favorite reality show. I loved it. But the last few years, I would say the last 4 or 5 years, it just changed. I think Nene being gone played a big factor. I think a lot of the OGs being gone played a big factor. I think the authenticity of it was gone, and there were a lot of gimmicks. There were a lot of stunts. There were a lot of people coming on that wanted to be famous and were acting, and I just wasn't here for it, right? So I kind of tuned out. And, Miami and Salt Lake City became my favorite franchise, and I just kind of put Atlanta to the back burner. Well, we know that Bravo put Atlanta on hiatus. Now they're back. We've got rid of a lot of the cast from the previous seasons. We've got a whole new cast now. Well, somewhat whole new cast. Shamia's been around. We know Shamia, but she's new to us as a housewife. It felt like they are using Shamia as the centerpiece. They want her to be like the anchor along with Porsha. It's like they want Shamia and Porsha to be like the Teresa of Atlanta, the Vicky Gunvalson of Atlanta, the y'all know what I'm saying, Bethany Frankel of Atlanta. They want those girls to kind of be the flagship and carry the show. That's what it seemed to me after watching the season premiere, right? Because the show opens with Shamia. We meet her family. It's very obvious that Shamia is very rich, right? I think she's got the nicest house out of anybody that I've seen on the Atlanta Housewives. Probably out of all the housewives, I mean, she's up there, right? She's up there with the Beverly Hills girls and the type of houses that they have. She's very, very rich. Now, the Shamia says that in this she talks about how she's got this friend group over here that's Cynthia and Portia and Drew, and then she's got this other friend group over here that is the new girls Kelly and Brit and Angela, and she says that she's the glue to bringing these girls together, and that's why I said I think that they have Shamia as the centerpiece. Why I think she's the flag, y'all know what I'm saying. Um, Now, Drew is also helping bringing in some of these new girls because not only does Shamia know them, Drew knows Angela Oakley, the one who is married to Charles Oakley, the former NBA player. So Drew is going to also help introduce some of the new girls. Now, we end up seeing Kenya quite a few times throughout the season premiere, which I was shocked by. I thought that they were going to edit her out as much as possible, but I think it was almost impossible to edit Kenya out because she filmed so much in the beginning as a full-time housewife and how she was also supposed to be a centerpiece of the show. So I think they just kind of made the decision to let's not edit her out. Let's just And I think that was the right decision. I think she should have also gotten confessionals. I think she should have been in the cast photo. I think that they kind of went overboard when it came to Kenya and punishing her, because at the end of the day, the producers knew what she was going to do. The producers knew that she was going to come out there with those poster boards with Brit on it, allegedly giving head. So let's not act like she's the only culprit here. So I think, they could have minimized her role a bit, but still gave her due justice. Do you know what I'm saying? So we see Kenya in the second scene where she comes over to Drew's house with her daughter Brooklyn, and Brooklyn goes and plays with Drew's kids. They play together. Ralph is in the basement via court order, and they are communicating via an app that the judge can see. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that that there was an app that you could communicate with that the judge could oversee. I guess it's kind of smart in a way, so there can be no he said, she said, and it's just pretty black and white there on an app, and they can judge from there. I think it's pretty cool. Um, Ralph being in the basement, I was like a lot of people at first, like, y'all are divorced. Why is he, or y'all are divorcing? Why is he still living there? I would get out. But it's like, I had heard one of them say, Portia had said on Watch What Happens Live, when you get divorced, you don't just go buy a new house right off the bat, right? I mean, I might rent me an apartment or something. I guess it just depends on the circumstances, because who wants to be in a living space with somebody that you more than likely don't like? If you're divorcing, you might not like each other at that point, right? Um, Drew tells Kenya that Dennis, Portia's baby's father, is going to be her music producer. I was thinking, music producer, since when does Dennis do music? I thought he made hot dogs. I guess this is a new venture of his. This is also, they're setting up this whole Drew and Dennis storyline, which is going to be a central storyline this season, where Drew is allegedly dating Dennis and he's helping her with music. Now, Drew is denying it, but I believe it, okay? Based off that scene with Kenya and Drew, they fucking, right? They fucking. That's what these two blue eyes see. um Based off what Drew was telling Kenya, she was like, he's just been here for me. He's been here in my life. He's helped me with music, and when I needed someone, he was there. It was like, it's the way you talk when you like somebody, right? And Kenya even saw that. Now, Drew says, when Kenya asked, does Portia know this? Drew says that Portia knows because Dennis told her that he was going to get her blessing. Dennis told Drew that he was going to get Portia's blessing. Okay. Yeah, right. That's just to get in your panties, girl, and you gonna believe it. You really think he done went and told hey, Portia, do you care if I date Drew? Hell no. And two, he knows what he doing. Getting with Dennis gets him on that show again as well. Cause we know Dennis likes the spotlight. If he didn't like the spotlight, he wouldn't be on the show. He'd be like the rest of the husbands, kind of like, I don't want to. I ain't. But Dennis likes to be in the mix, and that's okay. That's okay. Get in the mix, Dennis. Get in the mix. Now we meet Kelly. We meet Kelly, one of the new peaches, which I'm excited about Kelly because she brings this fun, fresh, like feisty energy that I'm excited for. We learned that she's a single mom to, I think, 4 kids, 3 or 4 kids. I can't remember. She's got twins. I know that. We know that she's going through a divorce, so I'm imagining that's going to be her storyline. Is this young woman from Atlanta with these children divorcing, running a business. She was married for 11 years, so that's a long time to be married to someone, and then you're divorcing and you got these children, and then she owned this place called Nana's Chicken and Waffles that now I want to try because, bitch, I love me some chicken and waffles, okay? Ooh, my mouth's watering thinking about it. Do y'all like chicken and waffles? I love chicken and waffles, but it has to be the tenders. I don't want a chicken thigh on top of it, okay? Don't put no wing and drumstick on top of my uh waffles and my chicken and waffles, okay? What do y'all think? Are y'all like that? I like a tender, a chicken tender. That way I can like cut into it and take my bites, and I ain't got to play with bone and all that. Give me 2 or 3 tenders on top of some big juicy buttery waffle. Bitch, my mouth is watering, okay? When I'm in Atlanta, next time I'm gonna have to check out Nana's Chicken and Waffles. Now, the way Kelly talks, it sounds like she had a husband that was like abusive, if you know what I'm saying, like physically. Um, because she said the police was called a lot during her relationship and that she was in fear for her safety. So I thought that was interesting that she was so vulnerable and open about that, and I'm sure maybe she will explore that this season. We'll hear more about that this season. It makes me wonder if we'll see her husband on the show. I highly doubt it if he's the kind of man that she's portraying. I doubt we'll see him on the show. I don't know. But we see Kelly. It's her daughter's 16th birthday. You know, she's got her family over. We get to meet her family. We get to meet her children, and she gifts her daughter it was either 16th birthday or 17th birthday. I don't remember. I'm not like my mind is not right today, but she gifts her daughter 16 purses for every year she was born, designer bags because she says her daughter loves um, purses. So she got 16. How did y'all feel about that? I was kind of like, okay. I think it was a little like show offy for the show. Like I'm not gonna lie, it makes me wonder like if Kelly would have done that had she not been on the show, which I'm sure she probably would have. But I think like it looks good for the show, right? Like let me get 16 purses for every year you were born, and Atlanta is supposed to be bringing the wealth. They're wanting to bring the wealth and the fabulosity because that's what they say was missing the last few seasons was like the over the top, the money, right? Or not even just from Atlanta, from Housewives in general. A lot of fans say the shows are missing the wealth and that they're just hiring girls that really are just regular girls. Now, we see Porsha go meet with her attorney about getting a divorce, right? This is the second time she's met with this attorney since being on the show. She's had two divorces now being on Atlanta Housewives. Now she tells the attorney, she opens up to the attorney about how she had no idea that Simon was the man that he was, that he portrayed someone else, and she didn't know that underneath the surface were all these lies and scams and things that Simon was allegedly doing. And Portia says that she doesn't want things like a foreclosure notice coming to her house without being able to pay it. And I'm assuming that a foreclosure notice came to the house, and that's maybe something that she discovered that kind of opened the can of worms for this whole Simon thing. She says that she asked Simon tons of questions throughout their relationship when she saw these red flags, and that's when all she said she asked him questions, he denied it, but then information started coming in about his past, like not having a green card, allegedly scamming, and all this other stuff, which I always wondered where Simon got his money from. He was always on private jets and shit. I was wondering where he got his money from. Now look at him. Now Portia says, which I thought was interesting, that they had 50-50 interest. I think that's how she worded it, in their house. They had 50-50 whatever in that house, and that she's not leaving. And Simon doesn't want her to film there, right? Simon does not want her filming in the house. He's trying to stop her bag. He's mad that he's not going to be on the show this season because he was always, the eighth housewife with his thirsty ass. So he's mad that he ain't on the show now. He's trying to stop Portia from filming so she can, try to hinder her in any way possible from getting that paycheck and filming that show. Now, I didn't know that they had 50-50 in the house. We all assumed or thought that Simon owned the house and Portia had just moved in, but I guess he put her name on it. I guess they, when they got married, I don't know what happened, how it worked, I don't know. But she says that there's a 50-50 split in it. So I don't blame her in a way. I'm not leaving either. If I'm 50-50 in this house with you and you the one that's been scamming and doing a bunch of fuck shit, I'm staying in my house. And whatever happened to you can happen to you. And then I can figure out your 50% or we can figure it out however that works. Now, her attorney is going to ask the court to put in a court order to allow her to film in the house because that's how she makes her money, filming the show, having them there in her home, filming her, right? So after Portia meets with her divorce attorney and gives him all the details of her divorce, what's went on, how she feels like Simon has betrayed her and scammed her. Next, we move on to Shamia. We see Shamia goes out to dinner with the new girls, Brit and Kelly. And one thing we find out about these new girls, not only the new girls, but Shamia too. Shamia, Brit, and Kelly. Well, not Brit. I'm sorry, not Shamia. I'm sorry, you guys. Just Brit and Kelly. So one thing we find out about the new girls is that they're both tied to Dennis as well. Okay, so that makes 4 girls on this cast tied to Dennis, right? Kelly says that she's been DM'd by Dennis before, with him pretty much, complimenting her, trying to slide in the DMs and, flirt, hit on her, right? She says she turned him down. She didn't, she, or not, she said she didn't turn him down. She said she didn't respond to the DM. That's what Kelly said. Now, Britt actually went on a date with Dennis, right? Britt went on a date with Dennis back in the day, she says. And I think she said he even bought her a $2,000 necklace or something like that. And so Britt's gone on a date with him. Kelly was DM'd by him. Porsha had a baby by him, and now Drew is allegedly dating him. We might be in for a good season, y'all. Dennis must got that dick. We must be thinking about the wrong hot dog when we think of Dennis. He must have that Arm& Hammer. Okay? Because why are all these beautiful girls going after Dennis? I don't like no shade. Dennis is not an ugly man. But Dennis is not, he's not giving Quad to us. Quad, y'all know Quad from Married to Medicine, her new man. Like, he's not like giving that. Now, while Kelly, Shamia, and Britt are at this dinner, Porsha gets brought up. And Kelly decides, oh, it's episode 1, baby. Let me go ahead and clock in. Let me go ahead and get the story rolling. Let me get the storyline rolling. Let me get some shit stirred. So Kelly says, now why did Porsha gets brought up, her divorce, Simon, and Kelly says, why did Porsha have to steal that girl's man? Referencing how Porsha met Dennis through Fallon. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably a Real Housewives of Atlanta fan, and you probably already know how Porsha met Simon. I probably said Dennis. I meant Simon. We already know how she met him, right? If you've watched the show, she first initially met him when she was filming the show and went over to the newcomer's house, Fallon, who was then married to Simon, and that's how they initially met. Now, they get together 18 days later, and it looks like Porsha stole Fallon's husband, right? So, listen. People have always wanted to know. Porsha was not on the show when it happened. I know it happened a few years ago, but there are still people who want to know. So I like Kelly, okay? I like Kelly. She's messy. Yes, she's messy, but she's not giving me thirsty. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a difference between people who come on the show and they're funny, they're doing their job, they're being a little messy, but then there's people who come on and they're just thirsty, they're dehydrated, they've researched the show, they're like, what am I going to do to make myself know? And Kelly doesn't give me that. She gives me that she's probably a little messy in real life, and she would have said that organically. Now, why Porsha steal that girl's man? Now, whether or not Porsha stole her man or not, people want to know. Inquiring minds want to know the details of how Porsha and Simon got together, which I'm sure we'll find out more of that throughout this season. Now, the next scene we see is Porsha and Shamia going to the strip club, which thought was pretty interesting to see. We don't see many scenes filmed in a strip club, but strip clubs are very Atlanta, right? If you've been to the ATL, if you live in Atlanta or you know Atlanta, you know that Atlanta's known for its strip clubs. It's strip club culture. So Porsha and Shamia, they're there. They're at the club. They're, chopping it up, doing what girls do, having a good time. And Shamia lets Porsha know that Simon texted her and told her, congratulations on the peach. blah, 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 right? Pretty much, because when Shamia was announced that she was going to be a housewife, Simon texted her. He said, congratulations. And pretty much is trying to keep himself interweaved in the Real Housewives of Atlanta mix, right? Simon's a clout chaser. Simon's a thirst bucket. He wants to be on TV. When we first saw him on TV with Fallon, he was just smiling. All you could see was his pearly whites. He was just so happy to be there. He couldn't stop smiling. He loves to be on TV. He loves the attention. When he and Porsha were together, he posted on his Instagram more than Porsha did. When they broke up, you would have thought he was a woman, the way he was going off and tweeting and stirring up shit and doing the most, right? And being messy. So Simon is not being organically genuine, trying to say congratulations, Shamia. Simon is trying to jab at Porsha and stay in the mix. Right? We all know that. Now, in the text message, Shamia says that she told him, thanks, bro, something, 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 blah, 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 right? And Porsha told Shamia, don't call him bro. If you're my friend, don't call him bro. And I'm with Porsha on that. We going through. Let's see, Shamia, I don't like that. Because you give me two-faced in a way. You give me like, if somebody's talking shit about me or doing something about me, you gon' just stay silent. Because I'm with Porsche on that. Do not call the man that I'm divorcing, who was allegedly scamming and defrauding and who sold me a lie. Don't be calling him bro, because he ain't your bro no more. When couples divorce, unfortunately, the friends usually have to pick a side. I know it sounds unfair, but that's just typically how it goes. Um, Now Shamia fills Porsha in on what Kelly said about her at the dinner the night before about how you know Kelly saying, I can't believe Porsha, or how Kelly said, did Porsha steal that girl's man? So Shamia lets Porsha know about that. And she also tells Porsha how Drew has been talking to and possibly dating Dennis, right? Now, when it came to the Dennis information, Porsha seemed shocked. Porsha did not know this. Now, remember what Drew said. Oh, Dennis is going to go get Porsha's blessing. Now, see, I liked you, Drew. When everybody else didn't like Drew, I liked Drew. I thought she made a good housewife because she was a little delusional. But now, the way she's moving, like you and Porsha were friends. Porsha said that you were begging her, always texting her, come back to the show, come back to the show, come back to the show, because you really needed an ally if you think about it, because none of the girls really fucked with you. And then she gets back on the show, and now you moving dirty like this. When you know this girl used to be dating this man, got a baby by this man. It's like, are you bringing her on the show strategically to play in her face? Because that's what it's looking like, Drew. That's what it's giving me. Because Porsha did not know that. Dennis did not fill her in and give her a heads up and get her blessing like you thought he was going to, Dodo Brain Drew. You really thought a man was going to go get his ex his blessing to fuck you? That was funny. Now, the final scene of the night is, or the final setting of the episode is Shamia's 42nd birthday. We end the episode with the all cast scene at Shamia's 42nd birthday. We end up seeing Cynthia there for the first time this season. We know Cynthia is a friend of this season. She's not a full timer. And Cynthia's been doing a lot of interviews lately, and when they ask her about being full time, she's like, "Oh, I wanted to do full time. I wanted to be full time. Like it just works out better for me. I like doing full, or not. I'm sorry, not full time, y'all. Rewind, rewind, rewind." They asked Cynthia how she felt about being a part time housewife, and Cynthia is like, "I like being a part time housewife. That's what I wanted. That's better for me." And I'm just like, 50 Cent, I feel like you pushing that too much, because if you watch every interview, she says that, and I'm like, I don't really think you like your first choice would have been a part-time housewife. Now, do I think Cynthia's content with it and doesn't mind it? Yeah. Do I think she's mad about it? No. I think she was just happy to get whatever they would offer her, right? Because Bravo was at the time where they were just getting rid of people left and right, chopping folks. And especially with Atlanta, they got rid of the whole cast except Drew and the last season. And I think Cynthia was just grateful to be a part of it. But to act like you wanted the friend role, it was almost like it was your idea, like you told producers, like, oh, I can't do full time this season. I need to be a friend. Girl, you would have snatched that full time status like that if you could, because Cynthia's been on for over 10 years. So her paychecks would be in the millions if she came back as full time. I think that's the only reason Cynthia's not there full time. She doesn't have a lot of storyline going, and she's very expensive. So why have her back as full time when we can pay her a lot less and get minimal from her? Cynthia fits better as a friend, I feel like, because there's nothing really going on in her life, right? We saw it all. We saw her raising her daughter. We saw every business she could open, and we saw her divorce, her marriage, all that good stuff. We also see Angela Oakley for the first time. She's one of the newer housewives as well. I think she's the one I'm looking forward to the most, only because the other two are so much younger. And my favorite type of housewives are the middle-aged women. I like a housewife in her 50s, preferably 50s and up. 50s and 60s housewives, 70s too, bitch. They are the best. I like me an older woman. I don't like to use the term older, but y'all know what I'm saying. Versus the younger girls. Typically the middle-aged women tend to be more themselves because they're in their ways. They've been that way forever. The younger girls tend to be a little bit more camera conscious and aware. And you know, but I'm not saying that Kelly and Brit do that. I'm just saying overall in reality TV, that's typically what I've observed. Angela seems to be married to, or not seems to be, she's married to a former NBA player, Charles Oakley. And do I have in my notes about how she said, I don't. There was one moment during the episode where nobody was talking about her husband. Nobody mentioned her husband's profession. And Angela was like, my husband is Charles Oakley. You better put some respect on his name. And it was so out of left field. They were talking about something else. I was wondering where it came from. And I'm like, damn, Angela, is it like that? You want everybody, like, we know who your husband is. We get it. He's an NBA player, but why do you have to say it in like, that would be like me doing this video here and saying that I've dated an NFL player, or I am dating an NFL player, have been, has been, whatever, past, present tense. I was with an NFL player. That would be like me just saying it in the middle of this video when it has nothing to do with the video. Anyway, Kenya comes in. I'm so disappointed that we're not going to have Kenya throughout the rest of the season, especially after watching the first episode. I like Kenya. Do I like everything she's done in the past? No. Has she had the best behavior? No, but that's what makes her a great housewife. And I feel like Bravo is doing a disservice not having her there. Instead of them punishing her, they're punishing the viewers, in my opinion, because once Kenya goes, the girls are going to have to work overtime to get the drama, because Kenya just knew how to get under the girls' skin sometimes. Now, Kenya comes in, and I want to know y'all's opinion on this, because I saw a lot of comments where people said that they felt like, hold on, you guys. Let me cut this heater off. It's getting hot in here. It's actually really warm outside. I don't need this heater on. So I saw a lot of comments from fans saying they felt like Brit was being shady to Kenya when Kenya came out and greeted all of them. I saw it the other way around. I thought Kenya was being shady towards Brit. So I'm very curious to hear what y'all say about this, because when Kenya comes in, out the gate, she hugs everybody that's standing there except for Brit. So right off the bat there for me, I'm like, oh, Kenya's throwing shade. And then I was like, is something happened between these two girls before filming even began? Has something, because these girls don't even have history. So I'm like, what has happened between these two where Kenya didn't come in and hug her? Or did Kenya just not like her for whatever reason? I don't know. But the fans online, when I was reading, they were saying that Brit was being shady. And I'm like, how? I saw it the other way around. Now, the production producers are already setting up the tone. If you haven't noticed, they're already setting up the foundation for the Brit and Kenya feud, the foundation that's going to eventually break apart. But they're already setting that up for us. We're already getting a glimpse into how their relationship's kind of starting off a little rocky. Um, Now, Kenya also shades Brit when she asks her where her wedding band is. Where's your wedding band? And Brit's like, I've got a band, but this is my rock, or whatever she said. And Brit referred to it as what Kenya was doing as being a little nice nasty, and I got that vibe too. I feel like that's Kenya to a T. I feel like she can be nice nasty at times. Listen, I feel like Kenya can be very nice at times. I've seen her be very kind to people, but I've also seen her be nice nasty. We know, we've all seen it. We can roll back the last 10 seasons and find quite a few moments of her being nice nasty. So I get what Brit is saying there. I get what Brit is saying. Like, I'm not being biased. I'm just looking at it from a viewer's point of view, not from any faves. I don't know Brit like that yet, and I've known Kenya for a while, but I'm just looking at it from a non-biased lens and perspective. Okay. Now we see Shamia and all of her party guests get ushered outside because she's got a gift that's about to be presented. And they bring out a Rolls Royce Cullinan, which is like a $500,000 car, $500,000 car. I'm like, baby, Atlanta is bringing the wealth this season. Cheers, bitch, to money, okay? Because again, that's what Bravo, the fans have been really, they feel like a lot of fans feel like Housewives has been missing the opulence and the wealth. And I think Shamia and these newer girls are going to help kind of bring that back in. Now, Kelly is upset at Shamia for running the bone back to Porsha about what Kelly said regarding Porsha stealing Fallon's man. Okay, so I'm sure we're going to see more of that play out in the future episodes. We didn't see a lot of Kelly addressing Porsha regarding her being upset about Porsha carrying the bone back. I mean, Shamia carrying the bone back. Let me say that again. They're setting up Kelly versus Shamia, I feel like. Because Kelly being upset at Shamia, we didn't see her address Shamia any in this episode, but I think we will in future episodes. Just because she's upset that Shamia went back and told Porsha what she said. But Kelly, Shamia and Porsha are friends. What did you think she was going to do when you told her? You're also filming a reality show. She going to go back and tell her friend. So I can't be with you on that one, Kelly, for being mad. You knew what was going to happen. And weren't you, even in the scene when Shamia told you that she went back and told Porsha, weren't you okay with it? Weren't you like, oh, okay. So why are you mad now? Now, everybody's at the party, and Kenya comes and sits down by the girls, and she asks Kelly, what's the tea, sis? What's going on? And Porsha walks in. Kelly was filling Kenya in on everything. Porsha walks in, and she greets everybody. She sits down, and they sort of get right into it because Kelly says, I was talking to them about how I had asked the girls the other night, why did Porsha steal that girl's man? So right off the bat, Kelly's letting Porsha know what she said, right? And obviously, Porsha ain't here for it. And she tells Kelly that she doesn't even know her and that Kelly should not be listening to the blogs. Now, I love that Kelly stands her ground, and in this moment and throughout the episode, what I really love about her is she's so confident. It's like she doesn't skip a beat. I like her confidence. I like that she's feisty and not scared, and she's already, like I said, clocking in episode 1, season 1. Because had Kelly not clocked in and done that and said the comment, we wouldn't have had much drama for episode 1. They would have been manufacturing drama for episode 1 had Kelly not, you know, done that. So her and Porsha are kind of having a little bit of a back and forth. Whose side are you on in that situation? Are you team Porsha or are you team Kelly? I'm team both of them. I'm going to kind of straddle the fence here only because I understand where Kelly's coming from because like I said, viewers want to know, and she's also clocking in and trying to get the show going. But I also understand where Portia's coming from because it's like, you don't really know me. Why are you talking about me at a dinner table? But I don't know. I think I'm leaning more towards Kelly's side on this one. Um, Now, Drew's birthday gets brought up. Drew's birthday gets brought up. She talks about how her birthday's coming up, and Porsha said, well, I had to get invited to your birthday party by Dennis. And that ushers us into next week's episode, okay? Because next week turns into Porsha eating Drew up. Okay, Porsha got in Drew's ass next week, and we're gonna listen. If y'all want more Real Housewives of Atlanta recaps, please let me know in the comments, okay? And we can recap this season, and we can come back next week and talk about how Porsha got in that ass with Miss Drew, as she should. Because Drew, you moving real foul, sis. You moving real funky and foul, and I don't like it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you click that subscribe button below and that thumbs up button. Like this video. That helps me get into the YouTube algorithm. Join the conversation below. Leave me all your thoughts and opinions on the season premiere of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16. Who is your favorite so far? Do you have a favorite? Do you have a new favorite? I like all the new girls. Do you like the new girls? I really like them. I think they're great additions, all three of them. I wasn't too excited for Shamia to come back. I'll be honest. I didn't feel like she brought anything when she was a friend of. But I'm going to give her a chance as a full-time housewife to see what she can bring, and then I'll judge at the end of the season, all right? So yeah, go ahead and comment below. Let me know what you guys think. If you want to help your boy out and grow and sustain this channel, in the description box below will be some ways that you can donate. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Damien After Dark. See ya.